all the major events that have been happening in the world since the past for the past 100 years, especially the past 100 years. It's been happening way longer than that. But there is there has been a move towards centralizing everything towards more of like a global world system under the AI, technology and everything, global surveillance system in that way. It drives our habits, our ideas, our assumptions about ourselves and about reality, and all of that has been given to us by environment, society,
right,
and then culture, media, education system. All that creates what you would call the egoic identity, in which you create an interpretation of yourself in relation to that world.
Because we're perhaps not where we want to be in life, right? Because of course maybe there's people in different places higher up, but who knows if they're happy? No, that's a whole other thing, right? But the reality is, for me, is that what inspires me is the people that I speak to. Whether it's you or someone that I know or someone that I don't know, or even if it's someone that I'm not even cool with anymore, that moment was inspiring.
Life will bring you people, events, and circumstances that will reveal where you are in order to transcend that. So I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. So when you really think about it, right? When you look at family, people that come to your life, friends, the environment, the response that you get. If reality, right, is only filtered through your past, right, and you are actually, what you actually are looking at is actually a reflection of yourself, then everybody and everything that comes into your life is you really coming to an understanding or learning about yourself in order to transcend and free yourself from the current circumstances that you're in, to move on through conscious evolution and everything. Like
the natural order, the natural process. I feel like you're right. These experiences, these people, you could either take it as a way to hinder your progression, or you could take it in a way that's toughening your skin and creating armor for the future battles ahead, because you're gonna go through them. So how are you gonna react?
So I can't trust no switching roadie. I be on my grown thing. Keep on moving, time be skipping, phone and going home. Same process, trust the progress. I be knowing where it's home, man. Free me, feel me, see me, I see. So
we got Tim in the crib. What's going on, bro? How you been, man?
Axel, how you doing?
Everything good?
All right.
How was the journey here? Any crazy shit? Any wild interaction on the train, or what?
Nah, it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
Pretty basic, pretty boring. I mean, not boring, but it's a cool journey.
You never know. There might be some random shit. You gotta be careful, right?
There's always random stuff.
Right? Tell me not.
I just said.
What was the last thing you saw on the train that you're like, what the fuck?
That's a great question. I think at the time, probably. Well, there's always some homeless person with mental instability on the trains. That's one. That's always entertaining to look at.
Entertaining? It's wild, right?
No, it's pretty wild, yeah. But as of lately, anything out the ordinary I've seen? No, not at all.
Shit, okay. I mean, I feel like for me, it's not the same. I always see some random shit that's happening. Well, there's always a random crackhead. It's usually with a homeless person that has mental health, mental health issues. But it's just it's tough, right? Because where do you go, right?
Yeah, and you're just in the same car, and he's over on the other side, and you're just looking at it
but then they want to charge you $3 for the fucking train, and then there's floods and crackheads and all this extra shit.
I guess tsunamis and everything.
But I mean, it's also tough. I can only imagine if you can go, I don't know, anywhere else, and you'll be okay. I guess it would make sense, but obviously they're there for a reason.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Because everywhere else is fucking shit or something like that.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
But let's just spin back on the time that you were here, because it was a few weeks ago. If you think about it, I think it was episode 105. Let me check.
He's triple digits with that one.
Yeah, you know what episode this is? Think about it. That was episode 105.
I would say around 200.
No, New Book and Show. No, this is 1:30.
Oh, 1:30. I thought
1:30.
it's been like it was like what,
So that
8
means
months.
that means it's been 25 weeks. Damn, it goes
Yeah.
about like that, right?
Yeah, bro. Like this. Think about that, man. You were all covered up from head to toe bro, when you did that interview.
Yeah, it was freezing. Now it's fucking warm as fuck. And I was surfing yesterday, bro.
Ooh.
Surfing, bro. You ever went surfing?
I've never went surfing.
Yo, shout out Papi Del too, bro. He taught me how to surf.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. So you getting the hang of it, like the
Yes.
bounce and everything.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm starting to understand it more. I'm starting to be like, oh, okay, I know like where I need to be, and then also catching the rhythm of like catching a wave, knowing when to catch the wave.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a certain moment you gotta wait for it. You know, like not all waves are worth catching. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You just gotta be like patient.
Yeah.
But it's almost kind of like fishing for a good time. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
once you catch it, it's great.
Yeah, it is. Like that, it looks like a lot of fun, bro.
But for real, you gotta come because you're fit enough to do it.
Yeah,
I
definitely want to try that out.
Yeah. Come through next week. I'm going next week.
Next Sunday.
Next Saturday. Wait, actually, probably Sunday because probably Sunday.
Yeah, so just I can definitely.
But early though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We can do that.
Yeah, because it's worth it. If you go there early, it's just so much worth. It's more worth it.
Yeah,
for sure. But all right, cool, man. So yeah, let's spin it back to 25 weeks ago, bro. You were breaking down and had diagrams and showing me different ways and connections life can correspond and exist with one another. So like, where are you at now with your studies, and like, where are you at? Like, what have you were showing me something before the podcast in terms of Yin and Yang, right? What's that about?
So like, since the last time we talked about the elements, and I did create a Yin Yang chart.
I'm gonna take a picture of this so then I could like screenshot it.
But it's been interesting because I've been doing a lot of research into how basically current events and how everything that led to this point today actually ties in to a particular agenda which has to do with this in a way, and I'll break that down for you as well. Like when you look at the world today and you look at the AI, the transhumanism, and everything that the world is moving towards with digital technologies and everything and automations, it seems like on the surface that is something that is just part of a natural like evolution of man.
Right.
But there's a really interesting book called Babylon's Banksters by Joseph Farrell, which is interesting. He talks about how there was like this ancient alchemical agenda by these bankers to actually alchemize the financial industry and to actually move the world towards a more digital age. And it's very interesting because when you look at how like the world has been set up to today, especially in the last like century or two, with the creation of like central banks, and you look at the world wars, when you look at the all the major events that have been happening in the world since the past from the past 100 years, especially the past 100 years, it's been happening way longer than that. But there is there has been a move towards centralizing everything towards more of like a global world system under the AI, technology and everything, a global surveillance system in that way. And it's very interesting because when you look at like the at ChatGPT AI, when you look at or which is OpenAI, they call it OpenAI, right?
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
I wonder why. What would you break that down as? Why would they call it OpenAI?
Open because it's open. They want to do
open to the public.
Open up to the public right now, but it's really just coding in a database, feeding back information to.
Right, because they're figuring out what we want, and like they're figuring out what like humans truly would like question and desire, and like see what they can manipulate within that. Probably. Right. No, they are definitely doing that. Like, no, for sure. They are. What it is it's literally CSS and HTML coding. It's literally coding, feeding energy into a system, and then feeding that back to you. So you can only regurgitate back to you what you feed into it.
So if you
Okay.
give it certain key terms, of course, it's going to give you feedback based on that in a really organizational way. So that's really what it is. It's more of like a feedback database. That
Okay.
is at this moment. That's actually, they want to actually make conscious, in the future. They're saying that it will be eventually be conscious, Terminator style and everything. But in my own opinion, it's really just, they're really kind of creating like a global artificial version of like, the natural world, basically, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
With the fake grass, fake tomatoes, fake fruit, fake
silicon.
Eventually,
from carbon to silicon, they want to move.
And the animals in the farms are eating that shit too.
They are eating,
and we're eating that.
Yeah, we're eating that. So it's like, and the plants and everything. They're saying that even the jab they have placed in many of the nanotechnology in the food as well, and in the air as well, with the chemtrails that they're spraying and everything. We're taking that in.
So this is something that's also inevitable, right? Because it's nothing that we can fight unless we can't even we're gonna have our own chicken and have our own cows. It's too late for that, especially if you're in a city.
Yeah, in the city, it's tough.
Yeah, you're gonna eat. You have to eat. Yeah. We're gonna eat. Supermarkets, getting it from where? Fucking Warren Buffett's farms and shit, right?
Oh, that's true though. That's true. Then this is why I'm looking into a lot of detoxification.
Doesn't he own a lot of farms in America?
Yeah, Bill
Gates. Oh, I'm bugging. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Warren Buffett. He gives a fuck.
Bill Gates owns a lot. He thinks he's a billionaire too. He owns something.
Nah, but you said you're right. Bill Gates owns a lot of farms in America, right?
Yeah, Bill Gates, he purchased farmland all across the U.S. to grow.
That's partially what I feel like. That's what started it, right?
Well, it's
because this didn't pop up in conversation as much until that.
Yeah,
right or wrong. I could be wrong.
It did. It was a circuit.
It was a warning. People spoke about it, but now it's happening.
Right. There was the technocratic movement, which is Elon Musk's grandfather was actually a part of that early technocratic movement.
Whoa! Break that down.
Back in the early I believe.
What is what is that movement?
That technocratic is to basically make government more efficient through technology. That's what the technocratic movement was during the early
and you're saying that Elon Musk's grandfather was
it his father or grandfather? I have to fact check that. But
let's fact check it right now.
Yeah, he was part of the early not transhumanist, the early technocratic movement in the early that was in the 1930s or 40s.
Elon Musk's father or grandfather a part of the, how do you spell that?
Technocratic movement.
Technocratic movement. Question mark. I'm asking ChatGPT. Yes, Elon Musk's grandfather, Dr. Joshua Haldeman, was involved in the technocratic movement in Canada during the 1930s and 40s. Details. Joshua Haldeman was a Canadian-American chiropractor and amateur archaeologist. He was involved in the Technocracy Inc., an organization that emerged during the Great Depression, advocating for a society led by technical experts, scientists, engineers, instead of politicians or business leaders. That's dope. So Elon Musk is definitely a reflection of that. That's interesting.
Right.
Technocracy Inc. promoted a system where energy consumption would be the basis for economic and social planning, rather than money and market forces. So where energy consumption would be the basis for economic and social planning? I don't know how I feel about that. Haldeman was reportedly a leader within the Canadian branch of the movement, which at one point was banned in Canada during World War II, possibly due to its perceived radical views. There's no clear evidence that Elon Musk himself has been influenced directly by the movement, but some observers note parallels between technocratic ideals and Musk's strong emphasis on engineering, science, and technological problem solving over traditional politics and economics. What were some of those radical views? I want to know. What were some of those radical views? What were those? Not even some of those. What were those radical views? Alright. Okay, here are the radical ideas. Abolish the price system. Technocrats wanted to eliminate money, profit, wages, and traditional markets entirely. Radical idea. Replace money with a system based on energy accounting, measuring the energy cost of producing goods and services and distributing resources accordingly. Okay? They believe that monetary economics was inefficient and led to inequality and waste. Number two, ruled by engineers and scientists. Technocracy advocated replacing elected officials with technical experts. Radical idea: only scientists, engineers, and other experts should make decisions about production, infrastructure, and social organization. This was viewed as anti-democratic since it bypassed the political process entirely. Fully planned scientific society, they envisioned a centrally planned economy governed by data, energy, statistics, and technical efficiency. Radical idea: a society where every aspect of production, distribution, and consumption is technologically optimized, not market driven or democratically negotiated. That's actually kind of fair. For example, every person would receive an equal number of energy certificates instead of money. That's kind of weird, though. That's like very socialistic.
Universal basic
Yeah, in its own way. Viewed as subversive by governments. In Canada, where Joshua Haldeman was active, Technocracy Inc. was banned during World War II. Through not for long, authorities were concerned that technocracy undermined capitalism, democracy, and national unity. It wasn't violent or explicitly revolutionary, but it was deeply critical of the existing social order. Why was it controversial? It opposed both capitalism and representative democracy, favored total system change, not reform, no clear mechanism for individual rights, freedom of speech, or checks on power under technocratic rule. In short, technocracy wasn't about robots ruling the world, it was about scientific management of society, rejecting money and politics in favor of technical efficiency. While it never became mainstream, it influenced future debates about automation, central planning, the technocratic governance. That's, and wanted me to ask if I wanted to break down more, but that's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's we got a bunch of technocrats and a bunch of neocons and Zionists in this current administration now.
What is neocons?
Neoconservative. There's a neoconservative movie that was created in the 1990s by Leo Strauss. It's the neo means, of course, neoconservative means the new conservative movement during that time. They actually drafted a document in '97, I believe it's called the Project for the New American Century. And in that document, they stated that they needed a new Pearl Harbor in order to justify going to take over 7 countries, which was Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea, I think it was, and like 2 African countries, I think Sudan, and I forgot the other African country, and Syria, basically. They already knocked out most of these countries already, and they got basically like 1 or 2 left, basically. So this has been happening since the new Pearl Harbor, which was 9/11, and which led to, of course, the War on Terror, Department of Homeland Security, Patriot Act.
Do you feel like this was constructed simply just to be able to make all these organizations?
Absolutely, yeah. Is it to clamp down more domestically through surveillance and to justify the release of all of these, surveillance technologies and everything, and also to, take over those particular, like, occupy those countries, those remaining countries, which didn't have Western banks or Rothschild banks in them at that moment. So they had, they operate under Islamic banking, supposedly, within those particular countries. But they definitely did invade them to basically, still, of course, their purpose, and to actually, reorganize that region as well within the Middle East as well. So, and it was for, of course, the Greater Israel Project as well, because Israel was created to expand throughout that region. That's why they're trying to, take over fully Gaza, and they've been occupying Gaza right now.
Yeah, right now.
And and you got the guy Mr. Trump right now with Netanyahu saying, "Yeah, we're gonna put a Mar-a-Lago, like we're gonna put a hotel in there now," and and like it's gone crazy, man. It's gone crazy at that point.
What do you think the outcome could be off this war or off Israel fully occupying Gaza?
Once they got that, and they took out like Assad from Syria basically recently, and they installed like their ISIS leader in there. Um, they need that to like jumpstart the war with Iran, basically like a full war. I think at that point, and once they knock down Iran, then they'd be able to succeed in their greater Israel project. That's what I think.
They ain't fucking with Russia though. Nobody fucking with Russia. I was
Russia
hearing
is-
Vladimir Putin. He had a recent speech. And the translation was in English. I swear to you, bro, there was a part where he was like, "Yo, what's with all these allegations? We're not gonna attack nobody. Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And that's like the fucking dictator saying that shit. It's not even a president saying that. It's a dictator saying that. But I don't know. I just caught a little bit of it. I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I think it was in regards to Ukraine, especially. But he was basically just speaking about like Western ideology and the influence of media and like etc. But I don't know. It's tough to say, right? Because it could be an easy spin for them to try to manipulate our people to be like, oh, this is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When that could be worse because in the end we live here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we gotta make things better. We can't just like allow for another country with another dictator that I'm sure would love to. I can't say I'm sure, but because there is a point of the media. It's like the media could spin a lot of shit, bro, and it's annoying because who knows? At the end of the day, I don't know. I don't see too many presidents of recent years. Before I think it was different, but of recent years be so active. Now like physically, but like in their homeland, I feel like Putin low key is kind of like active physically. He doesn't do like jiu-jitsu and shit like that. Like he's like a black belt. That takes discipline. Like shit, that's crazy. Yeah, it's not no regular shit.
But we've
Not to say that this guy is fucking good. I'm sure he kills maybe he kills a lot of people. But that's again, like I'm not there. Like how am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
And people still live in Russia, so they could leave. I'm sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Most important thing I've learned when it comes to discussing all of these is that it's never your own perspective at the end, because we're never sitting in the seats with these leaders. We never know what's going on behind the scenes. There is conspiracy that's occurring for sure within them. Like I've had this opinion that like for a while now that the bankers, they're running both sides of the show. Like they're running the western part, like the U.S. and Israel, and then they're also running China and Russia with the other hand, because they all have running off the central banks, which are tied into the global banking system. So that could be partially true.
Do you think there's honestly a global banking system? Yeah, I don't think there's enough control for that, bro. I think like because like think about it, like there's just so many different leaders around the world that are just like, nah, fuck that shit. We have our own shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see Kim Jong-un being like, yeah, let me pay my taxes to this fucking, you know what I mean? Like, nah, I just don't. But maybe you're right. I'm not anyone to say not, but I just think that like that's little.
The interesting thing is that like in Switzerland, right? And this is interesting about Switzerland. Check this out. So in the 1920s, I believe it's 1920, like 3 or something, after World War One, or 1917, between 1917 and 1920, I forgot which one it was. In Switzerland, the Bank of International Settlements was created. It was shaped like the ziggurat of Babylon. It looks like the tower. They call it the Tower of Babel, but it represents the Tower of Babel in a sense, right? You can actually see a picture of it. You can actually look at it, and actually it's like a ziggurat. But that's the central bank of central banks, they call it. And that's where like all the banks like supposedly were to. within that institution, that global banking system. And when you look at even after like World War II, in which Switzerland, like if you look at the World War II, right, how is it all the other countries were getting hit, but Switzerland is right in the middle, but nobody was touching Switzerland during that time, which shows that like the power was coming from
money.
that area,
Right?
The money power, yeah. So when you look at like,
well, also because a lot of sorry to cut you off, but
No,
isn't it that like a lot of like lucrative like CEOs and people that got mad money, they offshore their money in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, they do that.
That's
too,
definitely
yeah.
one of them. That's
Yeah,
that's why like nah.
Yeah.
No one fuck with Switzerland.
That's true.
We try to keep our money safe. Like,
Right.
I can only imagine probably you got people on both sides of the
Right.
coin. You know what I mean? Keeping their money stashed away in Switzerland. And Switzerland is low key, bro.
Yeah.
Low key. It's like, we got the money, but we don't gotta talk about it.
Dude, yeah.
Because they must have a lot of money.
No, Switzerland.
Luxembourg, right? Is that in Switzerland?
Yeah, where we have like the investments within a particular area. Yeah, you're gonna definitely have money there. I don't know about the poor or anything in Switzerland, like or how big the poor is in that country. I'm pretty sure there is. I haven't really done research into it or been over there.
Right.
But it'd be interesting to actually look at it, see like if there's like poverty in Switzerland as well.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure there is.
Poverty in Switzerland? Question. Searching the web. Ba-na-na-na. Yes, there is indeed poverty in Switzerland. Though the country remains one of the wealthiest globally, the issues affect many people. How prevalent is poverty in Switzerland? In 2023, about 8.1% of Swiss population, roughly 708,000 people, lived below the national poverty line. Excuse me. Okay. Another measure used is the poverty risk threshold. About 16%, around 1.4 million, have disposable incomes below 60% of the median, qualifying them at a risk of poverty. Who is affected? Children. Around 102,000 children were directly affected by poverty in 2023. Vulnerable groups, single parents, families with 3 or more children, those with minimal education and unemployed, older adults living alone, and migrants, foreigners face higher poverty rates. Okay, while many retired, 1 in 7 prisoners was living. Okay, I mean, it's kind of nothing new though, right? Like everywhere has like that type of poverty. It's not really touching the people there that have been living there. It's kind of like everywhere. But all right, like I want to kind of spin it back because I know you got a lot of papers here, bro. Like, what is all this? What's going on here? Because Switzerland is gonna remain the same. They're gonna keep their money. I want to know more about what you got going on there. What's going on with this?
Yeah, there's all like madness right here.
Madness,
bro.
Okay, madness. Oh, I remember this.
This is this.
So, what do you want to break down here, though? What do you feel like would be most valuable to the viewers? I feel like you didn't really break down this yin and yang, yin yang.
Yeah, when you look at like just esoterically, or with the Eastern tradition, this particularly comes from the Taoist tradition, the Yin and the Yang. So the Yin and Yang is literally a circle representing the one or the wholeness, and the curved line representing the division within that one. We're splitting it into the two, but it's really 4 because when you see those 2 circles there, that represents the as a whole the 4 elements. So it's like fire, air, water, earth within this one diagram here. And as you can put air, earth, then you got fire and water on the 2 ends here. So and why I put fire and water here is simply because this is the masculine and the feminine components. This is the birth of everything within creation. Right? So this is the yin, the water, the feminine. This is the yang, the fire, the masculine. Right? So when you go across here, it's fire and water, of course, right? Which is the death, birth, right? The birth is the nativity. The death is the decay. of everything. But there's a the reason why I put those particular ones within yin and yang, within the masculine and the feminine. In breath, out breath, right? You breathe in, you breathe out, back into it, right? The tree's taking the carbon, the oxygen, spews out carbon dioxide. We take in the carbon, the oxygen that it spews out, we take in, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide, which is the oxygen for the trees or the plant life, right? So there's that, that polarity just within, the basis of life, and expansion, contraction. So everything that expands eventually contracts back to its center, right? Everything that has birth leads to its decay, and that decay leads to a new birth always, right? So it's a continuous transformation or a process within existence, right? Nothing ever dies according to the second law of thermodynamics. Everything just changes form. Rest, activity, right? So activity is the masculine, because activity is like the motion, right? It's like it's the doing component, right? The rest it's kind of like the sleep, right? You're at a still point at that point,
which is also important.
Right, absolutely. This is why the balance of it is essential between those two elements. We're living in a very yang-oriented society. Western society is very yang-oriented because it's a very materialistic society. So everything's about hustle culture, about go-getting, about doing.
But hustle would be activity.
Activity, yeah, absolutely. It's an activity. It's an activity component. So it's a very yang-oriented. It's very fire-driven. It's an expansive type of. This is what industrialization really was. It was really the expansiveness through industry during that time. So you got the masculine and the feminine, of course, here. Intuition and intellect, right? You got the two components: the left brain and the right brain, right? The left brain, the intellect, and the intuitive component, which is the subconscious component of the mind, the intuitive component, that feeling component, what they call that gut feeling, right? Or you could say that's even the heart and the brain, because the heart and the brain is the feeling and the thought. And when you unify those with intention, that's when the real rewiring of the brain and the real changes that actually do occur. Any significant change or transformation that occurs is based on the unification of the heart and the mind, which is really the feeling and the thought with an intention behind that. Right. But it's like when you like if you really want to like say everybody's talking about like self-development or self-help or all that stuff, right? About like, hey, becoming a new person, right? That's the new thing, like becoming a new person, find your ideal self. But like in order for you to be able to really make a true transformation, you can't just think it or alone just feel it. You have to create an intention or an idea, and you have to kind of like become that future vision at that moment. You have to embody it with feeling in combination with thought for a long period of time, and you constantly got to do that through repetition in order to do that. And that's how you really rewire the neuropathic pathways of the mind, which has been generated from childhood until adulthood. But we'll get back into that. But so I always got the
stillness and motion,
right? So of course we just discussed that subconscious, conscious, right? You got the conscious mind, the subconscious, and then of course the Jungian psychology, the unconscious as well. But the unconscious is just what you're not conscious of, which is really the subconscious. We're driven by the subconscious programs of our mind, right? Which is on the back end, which is what we really are not fully aware of. It just drives our habits, our ideas, our assumptions about ourselves and about reality, and all of that has been given to us by environment, society, and then culture, media, education system. All that creates what you would call the egoic identity, in which you create an interpretation of yourself in relation to that world, and we live off of that. So that's. Yeah, I know I was going to add into this. Electricity, magnetism. So electricity is the electrical force, right? It's like you ever like touch what is it called, an outlet, and you hear see the spark. That's like the electricity, right? Electricity is like an hour motion, or something, right? Magnetism was like a pulling effect, right? When you look at like the magnetism, you see two magnets coming together, right? Those are two like the forces, what you call electromagnetism. in a sense, right? One is they say that this is an electrical universe. So even the sun is an electric vehicle. The moon is like a magnetic one. The sun. When you look at how everything was created, everything was like an outward motion, like what they call like the Big Bang and all that stuff, which is like all the planets and galaxies and all that stuff happening from a point that could represent basically the the still point, or like the resting point, and then the explosion through the Big Bang, and then everything, the formation of universes and galaxies and everything representing the outward motion, or the electrical component of existence.
Matter and spirit.
So, matter, yep. Yeah, so matter and spirit. Okay, so yeah, we got the spiritual component. Then we got a matter, which is the body, what they call body, mind, and spirit. And we get to that. I call it the phallic.
That's the dick, right?
Yep.
What's
Venus, vagina. There you go. But there's a deep symbolism when it comes to that. We look at the phallic symbols. Since a lot of the powers that be, through the Pentagon and all the phallic symbols that they put around the world. If you go to New York, throughout New York City, a bunch of phallic symbols everywhere. With the towers and everything.
Everywhere.
It's a very patriarchal oriented society.
It aligns with the birth, though. Makes sense, because that's where the birth comes from.
Yeah, the birth, of course. Yeah, when you look at the aspect of sex and sexuality, masculine and feminine coming together, the man ejaculates to the woman, into the egg. The spermatozoa, activates the egg.
Right.
It's a zygote. Right. The birth of the baby, which is the process of creation. The egg, the womb, which fits into that, and the seed. Basically, if you look at the symbol.
Nah, he wrote semen. He wrote semen.
I put semen?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I put semen. All right, yeah, that's what I'm. I just made that. All right, egg, womb, and semen, and then the seed and the earth. So the seed represents. We look at I used to read the mythos of they used to say the sea represents the man and the earth represents the. I used to be like, what the hell does that mean? And then and I'd be like, oh, now I get it. Now it's like what the sea represents, because semen, the root word of semen is seed, right? The etymology of semen is seed.
Makes sense.
Which makes sense because
starts with the first two letters of the same.
Right, which makes sense because what they're actually doing right now through endocrine disruptors, through chemicals, through hazardous, the chemicals in the air that they're throwing out in the air, pornography, all this stuff is actually demasculinizing the man, and is actually leading to lower sperm counts, and even certain populations like European populations, Japanese populations, and everything, like East Asian populations. A lot of them
populations
are
decreasing.
Right now.
Tremendously.
So there's a heavy effect on what they're putting in the food in order to destroy the seed or the semen of society right now, because a woman is the womb, right? A woman's like the incubator. She's like
when you say they, the banking systems,
the food companies, Monsanto is one of them, like the biochemical companies, of course the bankers, because everything, when you look at banks and money, right? The money system, the money's the current of the system, right? It's the current of the sea, right? It's the currency. It's the maritime system. Those are the banknotes that are circulated. So it kind of serves as like the energy of artificial externalization of the energy of the creative capacity that we have inside of us. You know what I mean? So the true current lies within man himself, within life itself. But they've created this artificial representation of a current externally in order to feed this corporate system. Right. This what do you call the corpse? It's really a corporation. It's really the corpse. Yes. When you go to a corporation, you're in a corporation. Yeah. When you're birthed in. They give you something called a birth certificate, which is the creation of an artificial persona, what they call the straw man, which is a bankrupt franchise. Right. So we're sold to the corporation. Of course, the parents don't know because, they're not taught this information. So it was passed on generationally from parent to child. And everything that we brought into is what you call through voluntary contract. We're brought into this kind of this legal matrix in a sense. Which is complex. I mean, it's that's something I'm still learning about right now. I don't want to get into it. That blows your mind.
All right, so Earth and Sun.
Earth and Sun, Moon and
Moon
and Sun. Oh,
both.
Yeah, Moon and Sun.
Earth and Seed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Moon, damn.
Earth and seed, moon and sun.
Moon and sun, yeah. You say that like, the sun is an electric vehicle, and the moon
Chaos
is
and order.
yeah, moon's magnetic. Moon day and yeah, day. Oh no, sorry, order and
Night.
chaos. Order chaos, of course. Order out of chaos. You know they've used that to the powers that be have used the order out of chaos to create the false flags and all of this, the situations, that the terrorist attacks and all of this stuff in order to basically create chaos so that they could bring in order to a situation. 9/11 was one of them, what we just discussed, and all of the other.
The pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic as well. 2020. Where they led to like lockdowns, and then they've globally basically, and they've used that as a way to bring the order, which is what the mRNA, and to get the nanotechnology. So that's really what the chaos that's been created since that time was used for.
You put body and day?
Night and day.
Night.
I know, it's like, so I put everything so together.
Sorry,
but it's
night and day, body and mind.
Body, mind. So thought, which is the mind, masculine, the yin, yang, and body, the yin. The matter, which is the matrice, the mother. Anything that has form is considered the feminine, and the like esoteric, literature and all that stuff. So it's like the body, because the body in itself is like a container, like a womb, right? The container holds what you would call the essence or the energy within it, or the way you call the spirit within it, which is the masculine component of it. Each of these even have its own yin and yang within, of course, within it, because everything is either good or bad or positive or negative. It's always and even when you look at positive or negative, negative is not bad, like it's not evil. Negative is a negation.
Right.
Positive is the opposite of negation.
If anything, it's I would say it's a yin aspect to it all, because it's a magnetism which it attracts it. You even need the opposites to the.
Our bodies, we bipedal too, so we even have two components within us.
The left and right side of the brain.
Yeah, the left and right side of the brain. Right side, even they showed like the arms are not exactly the same.
Yeah, always one is bigger than the other.
If you look at like the imprint, the fingerprint as well. Everybody's fingerprint is unique as well. It's just like everything in life is unique as well.
Right. So now the fingerprint is crazy, but.
The
alkaline
acid. Oh yeah, the alkaline acid. So that when you go to too much, taking in too much acids, it leads to metabolic acidosis, which is inflammatory response in your body, and that leads to, of course, cancers and everything that feed off of the acids, and also you have alkalinosis. Yeah, there's also metabolic alkalinosis, which also gives an opposite effect. It also leads to other certain conditions as well. Over time. So this is why they say to keep a pH balance. The pH balance is the acid alkaline balance within your body as well. So that's just another aspect of the yin and the yang existing within the human body as well. So, and this could go on and on. Desire and feeling, of course, the desires, like you're desiring something, so it's more of like a
hunt.
Yeah, like a hunt for, like, you see that person, you just want to, like, you desire them, and you just want to go and approach them. And then you have the feeling aspect, which is, I put it more of as the feminine component, even though this kind of like the intertwined. The feeling aspect is more of like a chill, like, hey, I feel this feels great. This is more of a
welcoming,
a great feel, welcoming, component, like a sponge in a way, like with water. Light and darkness, of course. The lights within the darkness is just the white and the black. And interesting when you look at white and black, because we like to say, we got white people and black people, but there's no such thing as either one. That those are just categorizations under the legal system. There's no such thing as that. You have melanin and people that have less melanin, but everybody has a level of a layer of melanin within them. It's just more people are concentrated because they come from environments where the sun is more concentrated within those areas, so they were able to develop over time more melanin than other people that come from northern environments and with less sun, and they had to their pigmentation was generated in order to have them survive in those particular environments. With a specific diet as well, which contributes to that. So Shakti and Shiva, this is of the Vedic or Hindu scripture as well. the Shiva and the Shakti are representing of the Yin and the Yang as well in their own creation mythos, which is basically, correspondence to all the other, mythologies and mythos as well. There's a lot there that you can unpack too. And of course, you could have like Jesus Mary. You could have like all of these different. You could go on and on and on when it comes to that. The list expands, but that's just basically a breakdown of the Yin and the Yang and the correspondences from the macrocosm to the microcosm.
The polarities of life.
Right. It's because as above, so below, as the fitness hermetic or kinetic texts describe.
Yeah. No, because I was insanely fucking thoughtful and deep, and I'm wondering also like what led you to create that.
I'm always like trying to tie things in together. I like to really see like what's really like going on with with this reality. It's like something I can't turn off now. It's like something I've been doing for years. I just you can't turn it. You become like more curious and everything. Yeah, and it's always important to come from a basic understanding. You have to really know this though. That I don't know.
But what would be a goal that you could have in this lifetime with this knowledge?
Creating conscious ecosystems and solutions by adding these elements or components into them. So for instance, if you could create, for instance, I'm in the process of doing this myself now, I'll talk to you about that afterwards, but if you could create, let's say, a technology or a way to balance out the body, right? Instead of creating a technology that leads more to the fragmentation of it. That's another way of doing that. You could spread this knowledge creatively. You could use it through art. You could spread this through art. You could create narratives and themes that actually infiltrate the minds of the young people, and change their minds rather than all these films about violence and just promoting agendas that don't even serve anybody. So it's about like altering or changing the mind, especially of the younger generations that are coming up now on your ends. So it's more of something that can like it's not just like knowing it. It's also spreading it, but it's also creating with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's about creating with it in a unique way that best represents yourself and that best represents what you want to actually create in this world and leave it behind. So it's more like for instance, if you could even create like a certain art with this, many of the mystics of the past were artists, were great artists as well.
Right. But how about something that would be tangible that could help society?
I would say that's a great question. I would say it would have to be in the realm of like technology. It would have to be in.
It would have to be.
Well, I would not have to be, but it would like in today's current time. I think the best route to go would probably be by creating certain technologies to do it. You could even like create like because it's a little tough because this is more of like the deeper aspect, the deeper knowledge or understanding of things. If you want to keep a baseline, you talk about like monetizing, right? Like monetizing.
No, but of course, I mean, like monetization would come if it's something that's great. But like, I'm talking about something that can benefit society, something tangible that can benefit society within the knowledge that you know. Like if there's polarity in life, what can be an object or something that can either represent it or be of use to give people maybe perhaps a mental practice or something that can be utilized even in people's infantry. So then that when by the time that they're older, it's something that they like, you know what I mean? Like maybe even a game or something
that's actually one. That's actually what I was thinking about. Like if you have like parts, like it would have to be through the mediums that we use today for like, for instance, on if you go with like, just imagine like if Netflix would give out like certain enlightening films more than the current content that they have now, or if you have like certain
But
documentaries, or if you like,
you would need to twist it though.
Yeah.
Certain enlightening films with like the most popular like celebrities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like the nobodies that nobody knows. And not to say that they're nobodies, it could be great, you know what I mean? Like but like that would actually bring attention.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Like picture for like people like Marvel. There's a huge fan base, like Marvel,
Disney.
like Disney and all that stuff. So you can have like certain like conscious superheroes or something like that.
DreamWorks?
Yeah, certain conscious superheroes, like ones that actually like, you know, give a positive image at the same time. They're actually like enlightening you throughout the story.
Right. You heard about DreamWorks, right? The guy that apparently he worked for Disney.
Yeah.
And then he left and created DreamWorks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think the first banger that he created was Shrek.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a banger.
Well, that they created, rather.
That was a banger for sure.
That was a banger for sure.
Yeah, like, you know, like it would have to be some stories like that helps, you know, rewire, you know, like the brains, or like at least gives
you have to sneak it in.
Yeah,
because the best ones snuck it in.
That's true. They did, like Alice in Wonderland, the Wizard of Oz. Those are all.
Well, but break that down. Like what was in Alice in Wonderland that you would say?
Well, the whole story, from what I can remember, because I remember the Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz actually represents the elements, the four elements: the tiger, the Tin Man, the scarecrow, I think it is, and the lion. Like they represent the four, and they're off, you know, the journey, which represents alchemically the journey throughout your mind, throughout your body, to, like, you know, liberate yourself from your past and everything. Is like all those elements are in there, and even they said that, you know, there was even a motif in there that relates to the creation of like the Federal Reserve, or the banking system that we have today and everything. Even like when you look at like Titanic in itself, like, as much like, you know, everybody's just like so emotional over that film, but the original story, supposedly, to the Creature of Jekyll Island, which was a book about the Federal Reserve by G. Edward Griffin, is that during the creation of the Federal Reserve, the people that were on the ship, they were on their way to, I forgot where it was. I don't know whether it was like a European city or anything like that, some city, but they were there to expose the Federal Reserve, and then they had to create the Titanic situation in order to do it. I'm not sure how they did it, but supposedly like that branch of the elites were not with the Federal Reserve at the time, so they actually concocted like a false flag situation, which on the Titanic. But anyways, like I would just have to confirm that.
So you're saying that the Titanic could have been manipulated to happen? What you're saying?
Yeah, according to the Creature from Jekyll Island. I'm not sure. Like I've never like cross-referenced it, but I've heard like that's what it's that's what was stated in there regarding that. Because I read some of the book, but not entirely.
Before we go into any further of your notes, what is a question that you can give me that I could bring out to society, and I can go ask that question? I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna marinate on this. Yeah, I love that right there.
Thanks, bro. You know what that is, right?
Is that Taino?
Is
that Arabic?
It's Cocobelli.
Oh.
Same shit. That's a story that my mom has been telling me since a kid, man. It's actually 2,000 years old. They found it in caves, in Native American caves, that are older than Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Goes back.
So it's like a story. Apparently, it's like a nomadic dude that would go from place to place, and he would have a hunchback because he was always playing music for people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Bringing joy to people's lives through his music. Yeah. Cocopelli.
So I gotta check that one out. I never heard of that one.
Nah?
No, I never heard of that one. Yeah,
I'm surprised. Hold on, let me get the water. This shit's gonna bother me. Let's go with the question.
Yeah, I would say, have you asked anybody about a question about purpose? in life?
Yeah, mad
Okay,
times.
yeah, mad times, right?
Mad times.
So if you had if you had the power to make one minor change in the world, how would you go about and bringing about that change? Like if you had all the power and all the resources to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Good
question.
On one day, if you had the power to make one minor change in the world, how would you go about making that change? If you had all the power and all the resources and able to do it.
I would put all of the homeless into big homes, and I would feed them until the end of their days.
Have a good one, right? Thank you so much. Have a good
What would you do? Yeah.
What would you do?
Me, I would I would definitely it would have to be in the realm of like the information, because without changing the mindset, without changing the minds first, nothing else externally would ever change.
No, fuck all that. What would you do?
I would broadcast, like I would take over all the media stations and I would broadcast, honestly, if I had a day, everything that I know.
That's way too much for a day. People will be like, what the fuck? They'll turn it off. They'll turn it off. Bro, they'll turn it off.
Like well, you only got a day, bro.
One day?
No.
One day, you're trying to give them all the information in one day, you're bugging.
All the info in one day.
Bugging.
They can't even get to the studio.
You're bugging. You have all the resources in the world, and your main idea is, let me just give them all the information I know. What the fuck are you doing? My idea would be like, alright, let me get fucking some of these Hollywood fucks to like do a dope ass fucking trailer for a documentary that will be coming out. And it doesn't even have to be out, but have it good enough that people will be like, oh my God, we need to care about this. But just entwine it with the shit that you know. But it's not necessarily something that you can give out so much information to, bro. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that'd be insane.
A day is definitely tough, man. You only got a day.
One day?
Yeah, a day
not gonna happen.
A day is tough, right?
You gotta entice.
I just said a month.
You gotta make it like a trailer's coming out. You know what I mean? Like
a day, 24 hours. Man.
That's ridiculous. That wouldn't. No, I don't think that would work. But all right. Also, I have a part in the podcast that I started doing. I'm pretty sure you did it because if you were here on episode 105, I started doing it around episode 97. But you're here anyway, so why not? You can sign your name on the giraffe. You can either sign it over there, Esperanza, or over here, however you like. Tim. That's funny, man. But yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. Man, these conversations are great, though, bro. When they come to, like, just, expressing it, just discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, especially because this has been some time that you've been just within your own mind about it, right? Yeah. So this is probably just the first time you can have an outlet of just releasing this information.
Yeah.
So,
can I ask you one question?
Yeah, of course.
What do you feel like is your mission here, first of all, like based upon like everything that you do,
right?
Not just like where you want to take this,
or
like your music or anything, but like what is like the impact you want to leave with what you are doing on the world?
Bro, to be honest, I just want people to believe in themselves. I think that like people lack confidence, people lack self-love, all that is all wrapped within the same thing. You know what I mean? Even like governance, it's all wrapped within, it's all encompassing,
Yeah.
And I think that truthfully, people constantly are like, oh, this person isn't great until somebody else huge says that they're great. I don't believe in that. I believe in community. I believe in people, and I believe in the way that they are discovering themselves. And I feel like this is a great way to document it as well, because we're perhaps not where we want to be in life, right? Because of course maybe there's people in different places higher up, but who knows if they're happy? No, that's a whole other thing, right? But the reality is, for me, is that what inspires me is the people that I speak to, whether like it's you or someone that I know or someone that I don't know, or even if it's someone that I'm not even cool with anymore, that moment was inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I take, because I have to acknowledge what was great for me and what was good for me rather than the bad. Because in reality, like, what's that going to do? I can only just learn from those moments, and grow from them, and then be appreciative and aspire to do more with the good. Because that's always been that's been helpful for me, and what works for me is that acknowledge and appreciate the good in your life, and the only way to do that is by actually vocalizing it and actually doing things, so it's just a matter of having people come together, and I think that this is a great way to showcase it, just by having different conversations. People really don't sit down and actually hear someone out, or go and like tap in and see how they feel about certain things, or promote what they got going on, or see what is inspiring for them, because life is hard, and people got it bad, and you don't know people's situations, and sometimes your story or something that you're bringing up can inspire them to either keep on going, say fuck what's going on, or be more inquisitive to what's going on, and I think that people provide a plethora of different experiences to allow that to be invoked. It's like it's one of those things.
That's great. That's a great answer.
I think so.
Yeah, I was like, all right, ready to go in there now.
I was going in.
But yeah, like you said, man. I like when you said that. You enjoy those particular moments. That's what I realized as well. Because all you have is this moment, literally.
Yeah.
When you look at time, like where's the past or the future, or the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
The past is no longer there. Literally, just a thought, a representation of what happened at that moment in time, or in the present when it was there, right? And the future is not yet to come. That's another idea that's built off of all your experiences and thoughts and everything and emotions.
That's why I go by a go.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that's one thing you know. A go is the one thing you know. And also, it goes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's what's already been said has been said. That's already in my past. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go back and retrace my steps of what. No. Right. I'm going forward. You know? That's why one day I'm going to make a song with Future. It's going to be dope. Future in the go.
You gotta put the thought in the motion, the intention.
Nah, that'd be dope. I think that'd be dope. She's like a goo. Future featuring a go or whatever. A go featuring future, whatever. However you want to do it. That'd be dope though.
A goo's not bad either. Yo, who's that goo guy?
Who's that goo guy?
Is that Nickelodeon goo? Like
But yeah, man, it's one of those things. I think that people lack confidence. People lack understanding. I think that people have so many problems because of it, and it's really annoying and frustrating, and wars were caused because of it, if you think about it.
Yeah, man, the programming goes deep, and I've been marinating on this one quote by Peter Crone, which is he has like the freedom community, basically. What he basically helps people deal with like their past selves, their traumas and all that stuff, and he has like an entire mastermind, right? But he actually created something that's really, he actually had a quote that just stuck with me, and I just had sit with that for a while. And his quotes, and I may paraphrase this a bit here, it's, life will bring you people, events, and circumstances that will reveal where you are in order to transcend that. So I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. So like, when you really think about it, right? When you look at family, people that come into your life, friends, their environment, the response that you get. If reality, right, is only filtered through your past, right? And you are actually, what you actually are looking at is actually a reflection of yourself, then everybody and everything that comes into your life is you really coming to an understanding or learning about yourself in order to transcend and free yourself from the current circumstances that you're in, to move on through conscious evolution and everything like that. So it's like more of like, it's very interesting because it's more, that's a very enlightening way of looking at it, rather than I'm a victim of this circumstance and these people are just causing me this, rather than, hey, maybe I could recontextualize, which is reframe it and say, what if all of these circumstances and people and situations in my life are there
It's
to
because of
actually
me.
reveal something within me?
Yep. Absolutely.
So you know what I mean? So it's like, hey,
Absolutely.
so hey, like you could be like, hey, look, maybe that breakup or that or that person that did me dirty or that parent that used to talk down to me.
Right.
If without any of those things, how would I ever even be able to contemplate these things,
Absolutely.
or even be able to learn or grow from anything
Yep.
in your world, right? So when you look at reality, right, if your mind projects a reality onto the frame of life, right, and everything is just events coming and going, then you actually are generating a past, present, or future in this reality in itself, and you're actually responding to what you are getting. So that you can look at everything as a lesson in that sense, right?
Absolutely.
You can look at everything as literally a lesson, and it's important to really look at it, because even the people that are causing you harm verbally or any other way around, they're going off of their program, but they don't realize that what they're projecting in reality is what they're going to get back in return as well. So it's more that, and you can even look at how that intertwines with like karma, let's say, right? I say the karma. It's not that karma is like, hey, like there's a being up there. It's like, all right, you're gonna get that karma. You're gonna get it in the next life. It's more of like you're gonna what the causes and the cause and effects of what you put out there into reality, what you are looking at or what you are perceiving in your reality, and how you respond and reacting is going to continue to create a looping cycle until you actually learn from that loop. Aside, sit back, observe your thoughts, observe how you react, and then learn from that. Be like, all right, so now I need to let this go. This is about letting go. It's not about like removing or forcing it out, because that's not going to happen.
Acceptance.
It's about accepting it, and just and letting it go. Letting those past thoughts, traumas, all that stuff, and all that anger and all that stuff.
In this life,
right?
Anyone's in control of. Nope. It's a wave. It's gonna go through. You could either ride the wave, but no one is beating Mother Nature, bro.
No.
The natural order, the natural process. I feel like you're right. These experiences, these people. You could either take it as a way to hinder your progression, or you could take it in a way that's toughening your skin and creating armor for the future battles ahead. Because you're going to go through them. So how are you going to react? Are you going to be prepared?
Yeah.
Are you going to be protected? Because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and how, right?
Yeah.
So that's just being logical. It's great to think that things are going to be always a-okay, but that's not the reality. What has reality constantly shown us? To be prepared, right? Because shit is going to happen like that. Wow, it's crazy.
And you could never know. That's the. It's both enlightening and frightening at the same time, the unknown, but it's really, that's what we don't, it's not that we're really like fearful of the unknown per se. We're just having an interpretation, or we're projecting over the unknown, because the unknown is the unknown. You know what I mean? But we have an interpretation of what might be that we're superimposing over the unknown. So we're superimposing, oh, this could lead to death. So right, because you're trying to survive, your body's trying to survive, your mind's trying to survive, like your identity's trying to survive. So it's just there to protect you.
Right.
See, like a lot of these like spiritual traditions, they're like, oh, destroy the ego, destroy your identity. That's the most dangerous thing you could do.
Right. In a way, right?
Because with the ego
in this world,
it's misinterpreted. You know what I mean? It's there to protect you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not there to like cause you harm. It's there to actually just like
set boundaries.
You. Yeah, it's there to say, you know what? We've been through this before, and this looks like a dangerous situation, so I'm going to protect you from that.
Right.
See, but you be like, you know what? No, let's take this chance. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, everything's all right. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that guardian that's like, nah, man, like, you don't want to go down that road, but you're just like, nah, man, I'm good. I've been down this shit out. You know what I mean? So it's more about having that type of relationship with it. But but yeah, it's a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's very cool, And the one thing I would say today is, I always say this, man, like, I don't know is one of the highest forms of wisdom. I don't know, because if you already come into everything like thinking you know it,
Mhm.
even if it's like something deeply ingrained, you feel like it's the absolute truth of something,
Mhm.
right? But that thought or idea could be given to you by somebody else, a book you might have read, and who knows? Who knows where
Yeah.
that person got their information from? Especially if it's
But
parents or
it
society.
is
Yeah.
it that we're at a point in society that nobody trusts anything anymore?
Yeah.
Not even people that are putting the practice and putting in the work to find out certain things.
Yeah. And that's why, yeah.
Scientists exist, you know?
Yeah.
People have put in the time to figure shit out
Yeah.
together. So it's, you know,
Mhm.
scientifically proven, you know? So
So
I feel like people need to get back to that too, right? In a way. Because
Yeah.
it's like, damn, bro, we cannot believe in anything at all.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I think no, that's like ultimate nihilism right there. But like I think it's more about like, experiencing it yourself, and then and based upon the experiences that you have, and doing the research and going into, I think it's more like,
Are you
it's something.
factoring in people with mental health issues though?
Yeah, that's something different, man. Like that's mental health issues. Like, if you talk about like schizophrenia or something, that's more than one personality trait in there. So it's hard to decipher and within those situations.
Where do you put
There's
these people?
like in terms of like what, like in terms of like the society's
Yeah.
categories. I think I think most people could be healed from what they have. To be honest with you,
Really?
yeah, I think so. I really think so. I think that
You've seen
there's
it?
hope for. I haven't seen
I
it
haven't.
personally. I haven't seen it personally,
Ever.
but just like you
But
look
I
at
mean, I
certain
guess people that do drugs, right? They take
right.
prescription pills and shit like that, and it helps.
I mean, they said that like when it comes to cancer, okay, we don't have the cure to cancer. It's not curable, but we have people that actually have, at least for the moment that it is, a lot of tumors, cancerous tumors that they have dissolved based upon the particular lifestyle changes and diets that they have. So there is, and certain herbs that can remove certain polyps and everything from the system. So, I mean, I just think that most of what we're told in terms of what we're made to believe about what's possible or not, and what reality is in a sense,
Right.
has been a lie in itself. I'm not saying talk about like, yeah, we don't have a body, and like we don't have fingers. The finger doesn't grab things, like, or like, like this is in the tree or apple.
What we choose to believe
But-
and who we choose to follow.
Right.
That's like been the threshold of society and what makes the glue, right? Like if the glue was the actual caring of one another, that imagine how society could be, but it's not. You're saying that the foundation and everything that has been built on has been built on lies and manipulation in order to confine people in a certain order and chaos.
Yeah.
And chaos and order. And then just so on and so forth to keep people confined and just within the confine of one.
Yeah, yes, because you have to look at who controls all the mediums and like the education system, and who programmed, or who indoctrinated, your parents and our parents and great grandparents, and you go down the line and you just see like, okay, and you start to really look at like, okay, what's really going on here, in terms of what you've been taught and everything. There's a point where you do have to question everything that you've been given, not to the point that where you have to go like completely insane, but it's more of like, at least take a different like outlook, because I don't think there's just one variable to like, life or existence. Meaning like there's not just one aspect of truth or reality to it. Do you have billions of perspectives in this world? Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has different taste buds. Everybody has different desires, feelings. Yep. Everybody, like when you look at everybody's uniquely them. Yeah. So it's literally like a unity through diversity. I do think that, it would be a way better if there was like compassion and love and all that stuff, and like people care more.
But it can't be that way
about it. Yeah,
it can't be that
and
way.
but the way they programmed everybody, especially within like the type of materialistic society we're in, is to like, hey, like it's all about, just attaining something over the sometimes even over the expense of somebody else.
Right.
That's changed a bit when it comes to like these days with people becoming more conscious. So they're trying to integrate, like business life with, being more like conscious. They have like conscious businesses and all that
Right.
stuff growing. So it's like it's more of like it's moving towards that type of
Direction.
in society, which is a lot better than what was before.
Right.
But at the same time, is more like when you're just like promoting that, then like all the other qualities and everything gets thrown out in that moment because you're just like there to get gain, to get approval, to get
Right.
status and everything. So it's to me, I think it's just about really like just coming from a state of like, hey, look, I'm open. I have like this openness to like experience and exploring reality for myself. I mean that to actually discover like what it is. That's the truth of things.
Right.
And
That
everything,
should
what I
just
mean?
be walking. Right. I mean, like we're all just walking here.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
We are
just
literally.
walking.
That's what it is. Like if we actually go like into like the Zen tradition and you go to like what their real like stuff is like when you talk about like the universe and everything and like how everything is like really like an expression of the all, like experiencing itself. That's all we really are doing. It's really we are really experiencing like this reality, this life, and from our own perspective, it's kind of like it's like the universe itself, like experiencing itself through infinite variety of ways, and it's coming to know itself in a way, right?
Right.
It's like learning in the process.
So some say that AI is not from this earth, or technology not necessarily the constant desire for technology to evolve and be a constant fixation within our lives is something that's unearthly. Would you agree with that?
It definitely does seem that way, man. I mean, when you look at original man, right? And if you go by, historical accounts, and if you go throughout the world today, you still see remnants of it. But if you go to like the Amazon, Indonesia, Africa, you go to other, parts that were indigenous peoples still roam, and you kind of look at them and you're like, man, this is mankind's, once did live so simply. So it's like, how did we get from that point A to point B, or to point Z, I should say now, where you got all this technology, like going to the rocket ships, leaving here and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff like NASA and everything, but like when you look at all the technology, like the computers, cell phones, everything that has come about, and you really wonder like where did like this come from? And it said like the government had been having this technology underground. That's why they put in the sci-fi movies and to create predictive programming, and then to get us prepared for this time period. But there's a lot of different theories when it comes to that. But when you look at like early man, just to answer your question, did it come from somewhere else? Like when you look at early man, like if we were like truly like hunter and gatherers at a point, then something else might have brought in civilizations, might have created these like especially like the early Babylonian and
someone with a higher knowledge to put people together to do certain things.
Well, then if you go really back to this is where it goes into that. Like when you go back to like a lot of these occult texts and all that, even when you go back to the cultures that actually had these texts that they got this knowledge from, where the Europeans like
the emerald tablets and shit.
Right. Where the Europeans stole basically from Egypt and and the Mayans.
Christopher Columbus stole mad shit too, right? Apparently.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he worked for
some say
Spain and the Vatican.
I was just about to say that. I was like, some say just the camera died, but some say that a lot of those heirlooms and stuff that was stolen are hidden in the Vatican.
Yeah, then they had libraries of just knowledge and who knows what else.
That's just so crazy.
What is in there, bro?
Yeah.
It's
Bro, that's the shit. But the camera died, and like we can keep going. The audio is gonna keep going, but obviously we're just gonna have you back on the podcast.
Yeah, you got it.
You know what I mean? It's always great to have a conversation with you, bro. And before we go, what's something that you can leave off with the people that are listening right now?
I say stay true to yourself. Find your uniqueness, whatever you are. Express that to the fullest, because we're only here for a certain amount of time, literally. Like when you really think about like the death, basically, right? Which is a taboo subject in our society, right? Like nobody wants to do that. Everybody's just think they're gonna live forever. But when you actually really meditate on that, and it's like then you'll realize, yeah, there's a point where there's gonna be a transitional point in my life. So you might as well just live every moment with true presence and express your creativity, especially through find that spark within you, or rediscover that spark within yourself, and then express that to the world. That's probably the best message I could give right now at this point.
I love it, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And do you have any questions for me?
Were you planning to take the podcast next? In your life, in the world, and the music.
I really, really want this to flourish, man. I want this to be able to not only go across internationally, but also get sponsorships that can provide not only a foundation for me to grow this to even more, but with everything else that I want to do, with my music and outside of music as well. I think that if it can reach certain points that I can meet certain people and I can make certain networks happen, then this would be the perfect birthplace of it.
So let me answer this. So just like you interview people like all walks of life in New York, do you eventually want to go international? You eventually want to get all walks of life from different countries?
Yeah, different countries.
And that'd be like more just that'd be
yeah,
cool. That'd be
man.
Cool. I can see that.
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome as hell. Go to different places, do the podcast in different places in the world. You know what I mean?
That'd be interesting to actually look at like different world, like just like if it's this interesting just in New York, just imagine like going to like Venice or something, or like or South America. You're just sitting down with people over there and
real people. Exactly.
And they even have to have a presence.
Exactly.
Man,
this is so dope. Imagine doing like little tours where it's like a So Yeah tour. Like, let me come see your city for a month or whatever the fuck.
People would be lining. You be talking to everybody.
That'd be sick. But yeah, man, I pray and hope that we all do what we truly want to do in this world. You know what I mean? That you're truly putting good heart and good positive intention for, but yeah, bro. So yeah,
bro.
Boom. So yeah. I can't trust no switching roadie. I be on my grown thing. Keep on moving, time be skipping, phone and going home. Same process, trust the progress. I be knowing where it's home, man. Free me, feel me, see me, I see. So yeah.